Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Corey Heim, the driver of the number 51 Crescent Tools Toyota Tundra for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and also will be driving part-time in the number 20, also sponsored by, I think so, yeah.
Crescent Tools. Yep, Crescent Tools.
Yep, Crescent Tools Toyota for Venturini Motorsports. He'll be sharing with Jesse Love, of course. He'll be at Daytona, pulling double duty in Trucks and ARCA. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you, Casey?
I'm doing well. All right, Corey. So let's talk about how this. Of course, let's talk about that big announcement you had on just a few days ago. Talk about that for a second, and just what was that like to reveal that big sponsorship with Crescent Tools?
Yeah, it was good. You know, that was our first ever media involved announcement at the Toyota Performance Center, announcing the Crescent Tools Toyota Tundra will be a part of our season for 4 races, and as well as 6 ARCA races as well. So, you know, that was a pretty cool announcement. We had all the Crescent Tools people there, as along with, you know, like I mentioned, some media. So it was great. You know, I'm looking forward to a great year with Crescent Tools and KBM, Veterinary Motorsports, and Toyota.
All right. Talking about that for a second, there was, you know, of course, you're going to be a busy man this year. You got trucks, 15 truck races. Of course, you're also competing for Rookie of the Year. You're also going to be running a number of ARCA races as well. Let's start with the trucks opportunity. Talk about that for a second. What's that like to kind of, you know, be in the truck series? I know you dipped your toe in there last year, but now you're going full go at it. It's not full time, but it's still going to be a majority of the races.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have the majority, about 3/4 of the races this year, anywhere between 15 and 18, 15 guaranteed, and, you know, the last 3 are pending. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, like you mentioned, we kind of dipped our toes, if you will, in that last year, running 3 races. I feel like we ran really good in all 3 races, didn't get the finishes that we wanted, but got a lot of stage points racked up and kind of proved that we belong. And, you know, like I mentioned, Crescent Tools along for 4 races, JBL for the other one. So looking forward to a great year.
So let's talk about the truck side of things. Continuing on with that, what track are you most excited about running this year?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm just looking forward to the new experiences. You know, I think about half of the schedule is made up of races that have raced in ARCA or even a late model. So, you know, that includes Martinsville. You got Mid-Ohio in there that I ran in ARCA last year, Kansas, Daytona, Talladega, a lot of races that I have run before, but you got some new opportunities in there, and those are probably the most I'm looking forward to.
You got some ARCA Menard Series races you're running as well. You got about six or 7, if I'm not mistaken. How about, you know, getting the opportunity to run with Billy again, and, you know, being a part of that? I know the championship didn't end up as what you wanted, but I know that you did accomplish a whole lot this year. Of course, you get to also defend your Daytona ARCA title a little bit there. Talk about running again for Venturini at Daytona, but it's going to be a little bit of a different schedule for you. Just a lot of the bigger tracks to get you ready for what's next.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like you mentioned, a limited schedule this year, but hitting on some tracks that we had some success at in the past. You know, going to Kansas twice, Daytona, Talladega. You know, have some wins in those tracks. So, you know, I love running with Billy and the whole Venturini family. They're always really good to me, and glad to be back with Shannon and Rush, my crew chief from last year, again this year. So, you know, like I mentioned earlier, we had a lot of success with those racetracks, and we're not expecting any different. But, you know, still got to put that effort forward, and hopefully, you know, have the same success this year.
Who is your spotter for the truck series? Just out of curiosity.
Not quite announced yet, but we're going to have all that out pretty soon here for you.
All righty then. So let's talk about what, you know, your goals, expectations are for this season. I know that it's a big year. I know you want to win a lot. You're in a truck that is capable of winning, and you're in a team that kind of saw a resurgence and going in as the dominant team, as the team expected to win the championship again. If you get a bunch of wins, do you think you might go full time in trucks?
Yeah, you know, right now we're just focusing on 22. You know, with a majority of the races in our schedule this year. I think, you know, as you mentioned, KBM winning 10 races roughly, I think last year. You know, definitely the dominant team next to a couple others. So we expect no different this year. Our team's going to be putting a lot of effort forward. Been, you know, spending a lot of time in the shop trying to get everything, you know, learned that I can this year. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of new opportunities this year. It's going to be tough, but I'm really looking forward to that.
track you most want to improve at?
Track I'm gonna say the road courses. I'm only running one this year. I'm running Mid Ohio, but as of now, a lot of that's pending. But I think I'm gonna run Mid Ohio this year. Last year we got the pole in ARCA, led a couple laps, but I messed up on restarts and then I sped on pit road. So those are two things that you just can't do in Truck Series. Especially considering how dense the field is in the Truck Series. I mean, if you have a penalty in ARCA, you'll go back to 11th and you'll be the first car to lead lap. If you have a penalty in trucks, you'll go back to 30th and be the last car to lead lap, and you have to make all that extra ground up. So Mid Ohio, like I mentioned earlier, we have speed there in ARCA, and might not translate to the Truck Series, but the road courses I'm pretty green at. Don't have a whole lot of experience at the road courses, so definitely got to improve in that area.
What's it like working with Marty? Of course, Marty Lindley, your crew chief. Of course, that's the guy that won all those races with Sam back in 2020 when they were both at GMS. Talk about what it's like working with him again.
Yeah, Marty's awesome. He's he was with me for 3 races last year, and I really got to know him throughout the 2021 season. But being back with him for 15 races this year is pretty exciting. He's a winner. I mean, you saw at GMS, he won a bunch of races with Sam, and before that, he was with MDM as well, and he won a bunch of races there as well. So Marty's a winner. I hope to keep that resume up for him this year. It's going to be tough, but he's been working his tail off this year and last year, just trying to put every bit of effort forward we can to go win races.
How ready are you for Daytona? Going into this race, I know that in a truck you've been in as you've spent super speedway racing, but that was in ARCA. What's it going to be like in this truck? And you have practice and qualifying, which you did have in ARCA. But what's it going to be like to get out there in a truck at Daytona?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different. From what I've heard, the Truck Series, you get a lot bigger of runs. The field, kind of like I touched on earlier, the field's a lot more dense, so you're gonna have a lot more opportunity to make up ground, and you're going to have even more opportunity to lose ground. So in the Truck Series, you're gonna find yourself getting left out, getting stuck, and I think there's a lot more good trucks going to be running up front. Well, like during ARCA at least, and Daytona and Talladega, Venturini's got two of the best cars running up front. That's going to be a little bit easier to maintain in the Truck Series when you got a lot of teams trying to go for the lead. So it's going to be tough, but nonetheless, I think KBM is going to bring me a really good piece, and I'm looking forward to that.
You got some you make sure you got some friends out there. Of course, all your Toyota friends are out there too. So it'll be fun for you. But Corey Heim, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes with us. And we will talk to you sometime later on in the year.
All right, I appreciate it, Casey.